Hello everyone, today I'm doing a review of sorts. Yeah, so a long time ago, last year I got into watching stuff on YouTube. See, I got really into watching stuff on YouTube. And one of the biggest things that I remember distinctly from YouTube, one of the best things I've ever watched, is The Dream Recipe. I'm just kidding, although that's a close second. No. So, very quickly, I got into Undertale. And FYI, no, I am not talking about the parts of the fandom that we do not discuss that. We do not discuss that here. We do not discuss that here. I'm talking. Sorry. And anyways, it's not about the game. I don't play the game because. Yeah, I'm weak. I am weak-willed. I'm weak-willed. Let's just say that. Now, first I'm gonna go into not spoiling anything, but I'm going to try and edit right here. Right here, there should be where you should skip to if you don't want. This right here is where the spoilers stop. So yeah, because I'm not gonna budge home and not talk about the plot, because the plot is kind of important to this review. So, what am I talking about? If I'm not talking about the game, and I'm not talking about the fandom, and anything the fandoms, in particular made, what am I talking about then? If you do not know what I'm talking about, then you clearly do not love music as much as I do. And no, I'm not even talking about the original soundtrack. I am talking about the musical. The musical of Undertale. Undertale the musical. Made by the all-famous man on the internet. Well, maybe not all famous, but close enough. This man got many people together, including an entire chorus. This entire group of creators, and made a literal 4-hour-long musical that he streamed and then put up as a video on the internet, on YouTube. And let me just start off with the one word that I need to describe this musical. It is amazing. The music, perfect. The voices, because this has voices now, perfect. The literal drawings that they use, to some of them even being slightly animated, are absolutely stunning. I am not gonna joke. I am not joking here. This is a real thing. This is a real thing that is beyond some of the best content on YouTube. I'm going to break this down into this review into 5 parts. The cast, of course, the plot, the soundtrack, of course, the visuals, because they have to keep you visually engaged, of course, and what else? My rating, of course. So I'm gonna rate this at the end of the video, and I'll let you know what the rating system is by that point. So first off, let's get into the cast. So now, the cast is pretty amazing, honestly. I've never heard of any of these people, yet now I feel guilty for not hearing about them, because they are just... Hold up, let me find... then go back. This musical has a literal... These people have voices of literal gods. I'm not joking here. Hold up, let me find who it is. Ah, yes. So, here. Ah, yes. So, Frisk is played by Shiner24. These are all creators. Toriel is played by M. Lorley. Asgore is played by Daniel Wagner. Sans is played by Steel. Monster Kid is played by Invidibit Sunshine. Papyrus is played by Darby Kubit, who Muffet is played by Roxrezi. Azrael is played by Atwas. Flowey by Alex Rietbitsky. Undyne by Mippa. Alphys by Brenna H. Napstablook by Upgraded Moons Productions. And Metaton by Alan Beckham, who is the man on the internet himself, I believe. Kara by ACB, Royal Guard Dogs, Alex Beckham, Tom Brevitt, April Antassim, Yusuf Nahim. Yeah, there's a lot. Let's just put it that way. There is a lot. Pardon me for that. Anyways, yeah, there's also some flashing patterns in this play. Anyways, the cast does amazing. The voices are very, very, very well done, and exactly how I pictured them in the game on how they speak, if they spoke at all in the game. Like, it's amazing. Steel has a pretty unusual voice for Sans. Sorry, for Sans that not a lot of people, voice Sans like. Like, if you watch YouTubers and they usually try to speak in the voices of the characters in the games, most of them don't talk like how Sans talks. At least how Steel interprets Sans talking. With Sans, Steel talks soft, yet sounds old, sort of rough, comedic, and however it's hard to describe. It's like a silky smooth, only then it can go to megalovania levels of good voicing. Like, that's the only way I can rank it. Darby does good as Papyrus, really capturing how many people voice Papyrus, and honestly, he doesn't really change it that much, but it's just really good. It's just a really good voicing. Monster Kid sounds pretty good, like a child, with the enthusiasm of a child. Like, do people get the personalities of the characters is really well. You can instantly tell what their expression is just from the voices alone. Let me put it that way. They are very, very clear on the personalities, just like how Toby Fox was. Undyne, Mippa has an amazing voice and does Undyne's songs amazingly, really, really good. She sounds just like how I pictured Undyne. And what else? She is insanely good on what song was it? Spear of Justice. Undyne's main song, she gets almost perfect. Let me tell you, I've tried singing some of these songs and they are difficult to sing. The chorus in the background is amazing as well. It really feels like a culmination of all the monsters in the underground singing this tale for the human audience, or just the audience in general. Because again, this musical acts like the game, and it breaks the fourth wall many times over. Alphys sounds very good. She really, really sounds like how we all pictured Alphys. Like, she's shy, she's anxious. She easily sounds like a nerd, and is easily likable from the very beginning. Napstablook sounds hilarious. Napstablook matches the sort of monotone, depressed voice that you'd expect from Napstablook, because he's depressed. He's a depressed ghost, but it is beyond good. He like, one of the first songs is Ghost Fight in the play, and Napstablook pulls it off so well. The guy who plays him. Metaton, Alex does amazing on Metaton. Metaton, I'm blown away by how good he was with Metaton. Like, Metaton was genuinely amazing in this play. Not just voice-wise, but how the way he acted them. The characters are all acted insanely well, and just how almost literally perfectly to how those characters are in the game, and honestly, I think the creator would be proud if he acknowledged this play. I'm not sure if he's acknowledged this play at all. But anyways, moving on. Asgore, Daniel Wagner's voice is amazing. It's deep, it's soothing, and Bergen Trugen is astonishing. It'll genuine, like, if you put on your headphones when you're listening to, like he says it himself, it's absolutely crazy. It'll make you feel chills from just how really, really well done Asgore's voice is in this musical. Toriel genuinely is one of the best voiced people in the cast. She sounds motherly. She sounds like the bubbly. She sounds like Toriel, all right, and it's really, really well done, especially all of Toriel's songs. You will genuinely feel calmer when listening to her than an actual ASMR soundtrack. Like any video, that anything that you used to try and put yourself to sleep pales in comparison to Lindsay Boland's whole voice. Okay, Frisk actually does talk somewhat in the play, although she mostly remains silent. But other than that, but like, they pull it off really, really well. Shiner 24, props. Like, they really make it, like, so they really make Frisk sound like, a child, while also, making it hard to discern whether Frisk is she really makes it sound like, Frisk feel like the character she's supposed to be in the game. Essentially the outlet for how the player plays the game. It genuinely feels like we're just like we, the audience, can view it in her eyes and her personality, and she has a personality in the play, and it genuinely feels like how the monsters. It genuinely feels like how the monsters seem to describe how she acts in the play. Azrael slash Flowey. As Azrael, he's voiced by Atlas. Atlas manages to pull off Azrael astonishingly, making you really, really cry when she sings his theme. It's genuinely she genuinely makes Azrael sound as innocent and pure as he's supposed to feel and act in the play. And Flowey, oh my god, Alex Rybitsky does Flowey absolute justice. He makes his really well faked sincerity with absolute terrifying psychopath. People have compared him to, the voice to SpongeBob, but oh my god, if you compare this voice to SpongeBob, you underestimate the level of his voice acting. It is a miracle that I'm pretty sure this guy did not have his voice as damaged as I thought it would, as I thought it got by the end of this play. It is amazing. Muffet is played really well along with all the other monsters. They are voiced insanely well. The human souls sing at one point during the play, and it is amazing. They really, really feel like like they were really children at some point, and really feel as wise as they appear to be. The Royal Guard dogs, of course, are adorable as always, and Kara is voiced in this play by Issy Bissy again, and Issy B, yeah, that's her name, Issy B, again, and she pulls off Kara really well. It is really well done. Although I would say Kara, because of her screen time, has the weakest voice of the play. She's not bad. She just doesn't feel as good as all the other people in the play. But comparing her to other voice actors, Issy B did really, really well as Kara. So that's it for the cast. Now we get on to the plot. The plot remains relatively the same in the play as it is in the game, with a few minor changes that, if you are a really big Undertale fan, you'll notice. But if you're not, it will genuinely makes the story better. I'm not gonna say it right there. You can form your own opinions, but it makes the play feel like the plot makes more sense, and honestly makes it that much more believable and makes it, a stronger story for it. It takes some of the flaws that were in Undertale story, like a few plot holes, and sort of rectifies them. Like they're not afraid to have like they're not like the whole thing behind like they have the whole thing behind like the spider dance song. Here's a good example. Again, spoilers. Muffet isn't like, doesn't just appear in the like in this. Okay, I'm not trying to describe it, but in this play, instead of whatever she did in the game, because that's still unclear to me, she's brought in here by Flowey, tricked by Flowey, who does appear in Spider Dance, and it makes a lot more sense because it felt honestly kind of odd how Flowey nearly disappeared, like at the end of when we first see him, but Flowey genuinely does appear more in the play, and it genuinely feels like he's following us, intrigued by us, while also trying to test us and play with us in the sadistic way Flowey says he wanted to. As well as it makes it feel a little bit more believable why Muffet would go so far out of her way to kill us than just, I heard about humans. I heard how they squash spiders. Like, I get it, but this makes a lot more sense how, especially considering, Muffet doesn't seem like she was, up there, and it doesn't feel like they'd be talking about those stories, like, a lot, considering she's one of the few, if only, maybe one of the only spiders, sentient spiders, in the underground. It's weird, but through this, the play makes it more believable. If anything, the ending feels a little bit less ambiguous, although it is ambiguous, very ambiguous. It actually ended on a happier note, in case you were wondering. Yeah. And some moments in the play, although they do sort of come out the same, they don't, like, in the game, they're not exactly the same in the play. Like, there's a few differences. Especially when it comes to Azrael and Frisk. Azrael's story seems to end in the play slightly happier than it was. Okay, no, definitely happier than it was implied in the game. In the game, even after all the players seemed to did, it didn't seem like Azrael wasn't saved. It felt like, and it added like a sort of sadness, like a realistic sadness, but still a unnecessary sadness where we couldn't like Frisk, like this is perfectly summed up when after Frisk and Azrael's conversation around where it basically manages to have Azrael's conversation if you go all the way to the beginning of where you started the game at the end of the game. Only it has it right after Hopes and Dreams and when you actually first start talking with Azrael, as Frisk. And it genuinely again, this play will make you cry. I'm not pretending. This play will make you sob. If you have a heart, of course. If you do not sob during this play at least once, I'm not sure. I don't want to be. I'm just gonna keep going. So, Frisk genuinely feels sad. Like, it genuinely feels heartbreaking, especially when when a piece of dialogue is switched from Azrael to Frisk, which genuinely makes it all the more sadder because again, the big thing with Azrael is that he's the only one Frisk can't save. Frisk can't save Azrael, at least not on her own. See, the difference between the game and the play is that it's implied at the very end that Azrael actually winds up coming back. Like, especially from Asgore's last line in the play implies it, as well as the sort of the other parts of the ending. Like, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but again, just watch it for yourself. You're absolute like watch it in parts or watch it full on, but you're not gonna regret it. Um, and yeah, it'll in this one it's essentially makes it even happier and more uplifting because although it has the realistic sadness of Frisk not being able to save Azrael, it sort of implies that Azrael sort of saved himself. Like, like in the game, it felt like he just sort of gave up, feeling like he like despite Frisk attempts to convince him, he didn't want to go back. But here, it feels like after like some time, he actually decided, you know what, I should go back, and it genuinely feels happy. Genuinely makes you feel happy at the end of the play. I'm not sure how they describe it. I'm not sure if it's ever really acknowledged by anyone, in the musical or outside of the musical. I mean, like behind the scenes, because it's still implied, but it feels really, really like that's what's supposed to happen. At least to me. Again, the ending is still ambiguous, so you can decide what happens after that for yourselves. So now that we are done with the plot, we are going on to the soundtrack. They adapt the songs in this. Hold up, I'm gonna play a little bit of stuff to emphasize how good, how amazing this soundtrack is.
Tale. Hush now, little ones. I have a story for you. A story about men and monsters.
Long ago, men and beasts ruled the earth and lived in peace.
Okay, sorry. I just discovered that most of these audio was originally took out, and I just discovered that wearing headphones doesn't matter if so long as I have this. So I'm gonna record that separately, I guess. So where did I leave off? Yeah, music. So I hope this video inspires you to make your own videos about this musical and bring it up to awareness. Like, this musical has potential, not just as a virtual musical, but as a real life musical. And I think it should be put on a stage. It's genuinely something you could put on a stage. I mean, you could literally just have the first 2 hours in one day, and then put the other 2 hours on the next day. I mean, they've already done that with the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and that. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. But anyways, yeah, if they can do that with that, why not do it with this musical? This musical is genuinely a bop. It's amazing. I hope this video blows up and inspires, more people to try and get this kind of musical and inspire this kind of creativity and genius out into like we're not like back like the times are coming up. Like, we're growing more and more advanced. It's time that we start celebrating these new things that keep appearing and enlightening us. So yeah, I hope this inspires more people. So anyways, on to the visuals. As you could see, the visuals in this play are absolutely amazing. Like, this is all, like, don't get me wrong, that was all hand drawn, and it's not as animated as that. Sorry, I said it was animated earlier. It's not entirely animated, but it's genuinely great, along with the fact that they actually take actual 8-bit footage from the game at some points that play during the play, not just in between songs, but also even during songs. And it really, really immerses you and really makes you pay attention. It, like, when you see the animation, it usually signals, hey, there's something important going on the screen. And when you see the 8-bit footage, it's, it makes you feel, oh, it's not as important, but it also makes you interested, and it also alerts you to, oh, something's changing. Like, the changing in the media really feels emphasized as important to how you interpret, it really helps you stay engaged in the story. That, and it's genuinely good. It's like really, really well drawn. Let me think about what else. Did you enjoy my pose? Great. So now I don't really have that much left on it, because there's not really much more to say. It's just amazing. That's all I can say. So without further ado, I shall move on to the next best thing about the musical, the other thing that I'm going to be talking about in this musical. So I did cast, plot, soundtrack, and the visuals. Well, now let me talk about my final thing. It's time to rate, people. It's time to rate this musical. It is absolutely astonishing. So, I enjoyed this musical a lot. I laughed, I cried, I sobbed, I cheered, I got angry, because of course you did. And it genuinely felt like an entirely different experience. It felt otherworldly. It felt not like a musical, but like a genuine life experience. Like, it really makes you feel and think about, the world around you, about giving mercy and determination, and the dangers of prejudice, and the importance of emotion. It genuinely makes you feel. It made me feel, at least. And on top of that, it felt good. It just felt pure. It felt genius. Like that, and it's something that can be enjoyed by all people. It can be enjoyed by all ages. Like, if I were to rate this, I'd rate it PG. Like, you know, if you're talking about like the age rating, I genuinely think that like I really think that, like, again, a 9-year-old could watch this and get just as much information and really enjoy the musical just as much, if not more, than how I'm enjoying it. When I reacted to the full, like, I reacted to all the, like, let's be clear, there's a playlist about the individual songs, and then there's the full video of the musical. And I watched the playlist first on accident. But when I first saw the musical, I still felt, although to a lesser degree, I still felt all the emotions I think they were going for in that musical. Like, so if you watch the musical on your own, completely blind, even, like, again, spoilers in this review, you will genuinely be amazed. You will be enlightened, and it is for that reason that I'm giving this a perfect rating. I'm giving it 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, absolutely perfect. Like, it genuinely doesn't feel like there's any big, major, or even minor flaws in this musical. It genuinely makes me amazed at how this just came about, not out from just not even by the original creator, and definitely not from a big corporation or anything, not a big thing in the entertainment industry. It just came about because a bunch of fans wanted to make this. It's beautiful. It's good. That's all I can say. That's the only other stuff I can say. And apologies for my stutter. I have Asperger's. Yeah. This musical has genuinely made me feel more alive, feel more in tune with what it means to be a human being. Like, no, not human. Like, I mean, the message of the musical is essentially be good and show compassion to everyone you meet, even if it's gonna take a long time for anything good to come out of it. Compassion, love, and mercy, they change the world. If there are more Frisks in the world would be a much happier place. Unfortunately, like Frisk said, we still have a lot of Flowies in the world. But I'm glad I surround myself not with the bad, but with the good. So, that's it for my review. If you liked this review, please hit that like button, subscribe. It would really help. I'd really appreciate it. Check out my Discord server. It's linked in my channel, I believe. On top of that, hit that notification bell so you know when I put up more videos. I almost forgot about that. Other than that, you know what? One last thing before the end of the video. I'm just gonna, you know, give me for a second. On the journey that you take, through the choices that you make, we hope you'll be good. Please be good. And that's all, everyone. Yeetboy out. I spent a lot of time here.